How is everybody doing on this Thursday morning? We are a few days into the whole pandemic. We got Woodman, we got J.T. Wilde with us. This is going to be an awesome show. We're not going to waste any time. I want to get in with the panel here. Fellas, morning.
Morning, everybody. How we doing?
Morning, everybody.
How you doing, JT?
I'm great. I'm weathering the storm, as they say.
All right.
All right. So we are all, I think, in the same time zone, Eastern Standard. And I know you're down in the southern part of the country. What's the climate as far as the people and what's going on in your particular possibly area with maybe your work and just other things? We're kind of interested.
Well, the last couple days have been kind of the craziest. I was playing up until about 4 days ago, and the mood in the bars and the restaurants was, I guess, the same. You know, people were talking about it, but they weren't really worried about it. So then I believe today they shut down the beaches. They shut down all the bars a couple days ago, actually. And the business owners are actually, well, you know, they're freaking out, but they also feel really bad because they have to put people out of work, you know. And so what we did here in town, I've got a young lady that's I kind of helped mentor over the years, and her name is Katie Talbert, and she lives in downtown St. Pete. So I got 2 phone calls the other day. As soon as this all started, it was 2 people that wanted to know how to make money on YouTube. and it was like they were all of a sudden, JT, how are you doing this? What's going on? So I had to go through kind of the process of downloading OBS with them and showing them how to get everything going. And so I helped them with that yesterday and the day before. And they're going to go on YouTube. I'm not on YouTube, on Facebook. So they're going to start. It's called Saved by Streaming. DTSP, which stands for Downtown St. Pete, and Saved by Streaming. So what she's doing is every day, like 2 to 4 artists are coming into her studio. She's got nice microphones set up. It sounds really good. And they're streaming on Facebook so that the people in town that are used to coming to see us play can watch us. And then she's putting all our donation links up there so people can donate. So it's kind of funny, but I guess it's not funny. It's you know how God always, like, when you don't, let's say you have a dream or you have something that you're supposed to, like, that you've been putting off, something you're supposed to do. You know, God always forces you to do that thing. I mean, no matter what it is, even if you have to almost die and then come back from like, you have a purpose, you have something, you're forced to do it. So this whole vision was something I've had for 5 years, building this online presence, building an audience that I can just sit in my house. I don't have to be in a bar drinking, you know, all of that stuff. I quit drinking about 5 months ago. I had a slip, so I'm 2 months sober, and it's so awesome. That's an awesome thing. But I was in bars all the time, and I just was like, I got to get
constantly
online.
Around the cigarette smoke or the liquor.
All of that,
yeah. I can get that.
But I always, so when I went on Twitter a couple years ago for the Q thing, I really literally started on Twitter because of Q. I remember watching a Jordan Sather video, and he was like, listen, if you want to know where the action is, get on Twitter. And this was 2.5 years ago. And I'm like, all right, I'm getting on Twitter. And the next thing I knew, I was building this audience worldwide, and kind of letting go of my local audience, and I did that. I'm still able to make a living.
Or you were just focusing because that's all you had was the local. And then you, whatever reason you expanded, it's like, I'm sure you're still doing the local, but that was there already. So now you focused on this new audience. And
that's right.
Wow. Because I was wondering, you play not just in, St. Pete or Florida. I've seen you, I think, live in Kentucky or Tennessee, something. I thought I've seen you in different places in Florida.
I've tried to get around as much as I can, but and I did the walkaways, and I've done some great Patriot things, and that's kind of what I focus on for my touring, because that's basically been my fan base. That's my national fan base, and I got to tell you, before this, I'd never had a national fan base, or worldwide, now that I think about it. And it's just been a different way of looking at your career, and some people get kind of neglected, I guess, in that in some form of that, but I feel like I've kind of broadened my horizon on who I can affect with this music, and the way, and also you got to remember, when your artists are creating, like if you write a book that only a few people want to read, then you have to find those people that want to read that book. And so, when you write a song, it's the same thing when you have music, and that Patriot spirit got into me. And it literally was a spirit. It literally was this unbelievable energy that got into me. And I would be writing these songs and filled with that spirit, and just like, and it's so many cool things that music does, like it's empowerment, it's joy, it's honor, it's all of these, I call them power words, that are really truly spiritual words that you can't, they're eternal words, they have.
So different from going to a bar, I would imagine in your field is you can be scheduled to play somewhere, and I guess that gets around a little bit, but some people are already going to come to the bar, want to eat or be there, and then they're kind of like, oh, who's playing tonight? Because that's happened to me. I'm somewhere. I didn't plan on being there, but I'm there. Then you wonder who's playing, and whether you like them or not, you're there, and you'll probably have a good time regardless. But it is different online, because if somebody doesn't like you, they're not going to subscribe. They're not going to be, most of the time. You shouldn't have people that don't like you on your channel just slamming like, I don't like your music. And it's like, well, then go away. Yeah. Go to a channel where you like it and be part of that. So
I mean, they don't stay long. It's kind of cool. I have trolls. I actually did a search, Google search the other day, and about, I don't know, on the second or third page, I found some really socialist young kids. They took Where We Go One, and they're like, oh, I'm puking in my mouth. I can't even hear that song. It's so awful. I mean, just bragging on it. And at this point, it's funny to me, you know what I mean? Probably years ago, I would have went, oh man, but it's like, you really just have to laugh that stuff off, because music's like food. I mean, everybody likes something different to eat.
Yes.
It's like, so, and if you don't get it and you don't want it, you don't eat it, and you don't listen to it. So, and it scares people away, even in the Patriot movement. I don't know if you guys realize, but I mean, we all have trolls in that movement as well. And, religion is like so back and forth with a lot of people, and I'm a very open-minded person, so I don't judge anybody by religion, color. I just don't judge anybody.
I try.
I live
that's something in my later years I've gotten to as well. I just rally around freedom, so we could all be, the liberty and freedom, so we could all, because that's something we could all like hug about, because then we can be individual. And
the biggest reason our forefathers fought was so that we could express our religion freely and be safe, and I don't have a religion. I have beliefs, and I have my own truths that I've found about God, and the way I should live my life and the way God wants me to live my life. But I hate religion. I hate it. I mean, I've fought against religion. I was raised Mormon. I fought against religion my whole life. I'm like, these people are fake. They're hypocrites. And this isn't God.
No, and then you see all the stuff coming out
God.
of the churches, right? I mean, the
Right.
dark secrets, and it's if these people that rule have had their hands in all different, you can't imagine they didn't have it into the churches, the organized,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Christ came to destroy religion. I mean, if you really have studied Christ like I have, he came to get he basically came for a lot of reasons, but he came specifically, his rebel part of him was to fight the Sadducees and the Roman government coercing to destroy the people and destroy the temple, and make it all about the money and the coin, and he was a rebel in that way, and I believe he would be the same way today. He would tell people, you're worshiping the wrong God. It's not. Anyways,
So what do you? Yeah, and that's what I always tell people. You don't have to believe in. Some people, they come here and they don't believe in any of that. That's where they'll turn off right away. But it's like, you got to understand that these people do. These people. I've come to the conclusions with everything I've dug into and read into, that these people, some of these high up people, believe in Satan, and that's who they. So
it's kind of hard to grasp that, isn't it, for somebody who's got a good soul and a good heart? It's like, how would they do that? But when you look into the manipulation of the mind, and all the things we've learned, like with MK Ultra, and the way they can show you images. And I remember what was it, Clockwork Orange?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. That was one of the first movies where we saw them like programming somebody's mind like that, and how real really was that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that was an extreme version of something that was a covert plan underneath the radar for a long time.
Well, and then they, when you are around and alive, like, if you would have been screaming MK Ultra to people in the 70s, people were like, you're crazy. And then in the 80s, it gets released. And then people, when you show them that, they'll be like, well, that's old. Like at the time it's classified and they don't know about it, it's a conspiracy. When it gets declassified, it's always 20 years later. Then it's like, well, that's old. And you're like, well, where is the relevance when it's happening? It's not there because you can't see it. But then whatever. So then
Netflix makes a series about it and shows you, like, lays it open for you as if they have to show you what they're doing so that it's, it works, but at the same time, it makes it fictional in your mind, and it makes people think, well, that's just a story. And it's so amazing how they actually manipulate time. That's what's really crazy. I mean, if we look in the last 40, 50 years, they have been manipulating time and manipulating the way that we perceive events. And it's really crazy. And I really truly believe that's this matrix that they call, and we're jumping out of that we can't be. When you have God, you don't have fear. You know what fear is, and you know how to put it on its shelf and say, F you,
Yeah.
We do that a lot on Twitter, don't we?
Let me see if
you're born on that one.
Patriot Hour. Have you seen? And what you just said there rang a bell. It's I believe that for those of us that have the eyes to see and then the ears to hear, we do. And I believe in every event with all the lies orchestrated that the truth is always there as well. Like during the Vegas shooting, I'm laying in bed that night, a couple years ago, and they're showing, the first cell phone leaked footages they got from people actually recording and doing it. And I jump off the bed because I see something, the CBS that's showing it has their big ticker, but man, everyone's looking at this building that they're showing and then the chaos in the crowd. But over to the left-hand side, I see something that makes me jump out of bed all panicky, like, whoa, what did I just see? And I'm getting online, I'm grabbing that footage, and it's not doctored. It's the same one every channel showing. But in there is a little bit of truth. You can see it for your own eyes. It's like, whoa, what are you seeing here? But you see possibly some ground level shooting, which is not the narrative at all.
I didn't get to see that. You actually saw like gun flash.
Well, let me pull that up. I'm trying to find it right now. I'll pull it up. I did a video on it and lots of people are like, whoa, you don't really know.
I'm psyched about Patriot Fest. I think you planned the timing really well on it, because I think we'll be out of this mess by then.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. This is, if not anything, this has showed, I think, a lot of people how vulnerable we can be really quickly, almost like with just a flip of a switch, because everything was fine. The economy was really strong. And just with the word of this, can look how quickly things were shut down.
I think you'll be saying the same thing in a couple months, which will be the opposite. Which will be like, wow, look how quickly we came back.
Yeah.
And also look how quickly we're able to coordinate and shut down and get enough food for everybody and get the word out that, it's almost like a test run. It really is. I mean, this is a perfect test run. Hopefully it doesn't become a true epidemic, and it works as a way for us all to get a system down now. Now we can, hey, I think trust the plan goes way beyond just this movement. Trust the plan means make a plan in everything you do in your life, and have a plan. If you want to be successful, have a plan. That's what Trump has always done. If you want to survive a pandemic, have a plan. And so I really feel like that's a huge part of this whole thing.
Yeah, no, there's people that are like, this is it. This is a financial global collapse that the New World Order had been predicting. So if you had been in the truther movement at all well before Q, and just like by myself for the last 20 years, you've come to these, well, first off, everything I ever looked into early on 20 years ago would lead me to a door where it would take me to a satanistic ritual or something. Like, all right, I'm done with that. So I'd go on to some other angle, and everything almost led me back to that. So I was forced to go through that door and keep digging on each of. I was like, wow, everything. And then, but you always came across this. They're going to be getting to a one money, like either it was a chip. We've all heard that, right? The mark of the beast, the chip. You have to take a chip, or the one world government, one world religion, one world whatever. So, and I was having this debate with some people about the one world. This is it, and you've known about it for 20 years because been talking about it, but nobody did anything. Evidently it just happened. It's maybe happening now, right in front of us. But yet you've known about the New World Order plan to collapse the financial markets of the world, and here it's happening. And you've known about this for 25 years. Why didn't you stop it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look what you had said before we went on air. The way that Trump took this, and he ended up buying oil for $20 a barrel from Saudi Arabia, something that when they dropped the price, they were planning on creating a havoc all over the world. And he said, oh, awesome, let's just buy it up and put it in our reserve. Perfect. So again, like, was that a plan?
Exactly.
The 4D chess thing is big, and we're not really on that level. We're I mean, the thing, like all of your studies, it's so interesting watching what's happened in the last 2 years. I started a big thread and I end up getting lazy and going, I'm not going to write all this. But if you look, I said I started at what a miracle looks like. What a miracle looks like. Okay. So imagine if we had none of this information over the last 2.5 years that we've been given. What would we be doing right now? Okay. So that 2 years of information is a miracle. It's changed the face of the earth. It's changed the consciousness of the U.S. and the Patriots. It was a miracle that happened. And if the reason I can say that is because how else would it have happened? How else would we feel this way inside, where we love our country, we love our freedom, and we understand now, first of all, that they really were trying to take it away from us. They really were sneaking socialism into our country. We know that. We did not know that 2.5 years ago when we were going, this crazy guy's going to run for president. Oh my gosh. We did not realize that. With General Flynn explaining to us how the Muslim Brotherhood has been infiltrating our country, we did not know that. We did not even realize that the Chinese were basically funding all of the colleges so that all of that technology goes to them. We did not know that. It's a miracle that we know these things, you guys, because now we've got 20 years to go, no. You're not going to do that to us again. And we really can make a difference. And if you notice how we are overpowering many of the politicians on Twitter, you cannot, I mean, unless they're only showing patriots to us, we are killing those people. I mean, on their lies. Every time you look at any of those comments, and you could probably find we way outnumber the people that are, because guess what? We have a cause. The people that are supporting those people they have no cause. They don't even know what they're fighting for, and they eventually realize it.
Yeah. I perfectly stated there. Jen Flynn rules, somebody says. Jonna Brulin, thank you so much, John and Jeff. Super chat. Grillin's putting up the Patriot Fest information in the chat as well. Again, welcome all mods, patriots, newcomers. Make sure you get over to JT's. If I can get the mods to grab his link and post that here periodically.
Thank you.
They already are. Face is doing it already. So thank you, Face.
Awesome.
All right, I got this video queued up. I'm going to show you guys this and everyone in the room today. We got about 700, I see, 720. Here, check this out. This is Vegas. Tell me what you guys see. Now, typically, this was the first one that the mainstream was blasting. It was the first one they got their hands on. And the building sits in the background. So typically, like on the JFK, everyone knows that JFK gets shot. So everyone's eyes are on JFK waiting to see but did you ever look around a little more, So anyway, keep your eyes on this. I'm going to suggest to look in the area where JT is right now on the screen. That's where, all right, let me get this on. Now this is, let me turn off some of the tickers. I don't think you'll hear the sound. Do you guys hear that sound? Woodman?
Negative.
Hold on here, let me get this. Let me scan it.
Real low volume for sure.
Oh, you don't need to hear. It's going to be slowed down here now. It's only slowed down, not edited. Okay, so that was.
And then when he walks away, he turns around and looks.
All right, did you see that?
No.
Yeah. He looked like he pulled his gun out.
Yeah, looked like he went to a typical military stance that I know, where he probably had a little belt, and just a little. Who knows what kind of gun, but it was a typical drop to the knee. The gun swings out from underneath the vest. And then you see this guy like run back, right? Several times. Let me see here if I can find it again real quickly. So you see like the yellow vest right here. And then this guy comes running up right here, I believe. Right there. He's got the yellow vest on. So
I think he was looking for the shooter probably. But he wasn't looking for him up in the building.
Yeah, I don't know. You just see so many. I see like a yellow arc right in front of him. But you can see a flash, actually. It's wild. It's wild. Now, what do you know about that, by the way? Did you hear that Trump was there that night? Either of you guys?
I did.
You've heard, yeah. JT, have you heard
That he was there?
Yeah. On in the hotel, yeah. So on the same floor. So if you look at those three floors, you had like the Prince Sada. I don't know, the one guy from Saudi Arabia owned the floor that the actual shooting took place on.
Oh, right.
I believe Bill Gates or something owned the floor above or below. I might be getting those wrong. But anyway, yeah, Trump was supposedly there meeting with that prince from Saudi Arabia on that floor down at the other end of the hall. And then this guy is set up there. So what was really supposed to happen that day was, Trump was supposed to be, whatever, and then shoot out the window and get the crowd. And now think of that event. That's what was supposed to possibly happen.
We have an echo, I think, from.
Oh, my bad.
Last time.
My bad. That was probably messing up pretty good. Yeah, I have a issue going on right now. If I want to play something off a desktop, I have to hit one button, but it creates an echo. But I forget that.
Yeah.
My bad.
Everybody's having that same problem.
Yeah, it's. But I was good with it. But I moved some things around and I must have plugged something in wrong, but my bad. Echo's gone, you guys. Let me know 5 of 5, please, before we.
Echo.
Well, we have to look at the fact also,
Good
people have been believing our government for a long time. They've had such a major trust in them. And, to see it actually be as corrupt as it is really kind of mind-boggling to everybody, because now they're saying, oh, man, now what else am I going to screw up in life? I've had my faith in the government, and they're not supposed to be doing this kind of stuff. Now who do I, other than God, who do I have my faith in, So mainstream media is just killing everybody, man, I'm telling you. The way they portray everything.
They expose themselves daily, though. I think too. I think every day somebody else is waking up to the ridiculousness of it. Especially now that they're totally covering for China. And once people realize how much money China has invested into all of these, media companies and,
Corporation.
think about it, all these sports, all the movies. I mean, they dumped billions into the movies. They've dumped into the NBA, we know now. So all of those people are going to go, oh, don't call it a China, don't say nothing. They're just averting the attention, and they're making it even more so. There you can see it so much more clearly with their disdain that they're basically Chinese propagandists.
Yeah. Well, what about when the virus was first coming out of there? I was seeing videos of people convulsing, falling dead on their face. It was like a zombie.
Yeah.
But that's not the case now. As it's spread outward, it's people like, I don't even know I have it. Tom Hanks and all them. Did you see Tom Hanks's tweet last night where he put out like he's over there in Australia doing the film, gets the virus. By the way, only 38 people. So maybe the testing isn't right, but it's like the point of him getting it is like 0.000001 because there's only 38 people out of the 26 million in Australia. By the way, there's only 26 million in the whole Australia. I mean, that's small. We got 350 or 330 here, but so he has a typewriter with him, and he posted. He's like, we're on quarantine, and the typewriter he shows is a Corona. It's an old school 1930s, and it's like, what the hell? I mean, you just happen to have that with you.
Weird. Crazy.
It's odd. It's just odd.
Oh yeah.
I don't so we can't go wrong quarantining. If it's semi hoaxy, I'm not saying it's not real. Maybe it's not much far off from the normal. Maybe it was something that was planned, some biological released but either way, if it's fake, we find out, maybe we should be mad that they were able to lie and shut down your whole life over it. Because I think a lot of people have thought, I don't pay attention to politics. I'm into sports. I like sports. But now sports is shut down. That's brought their attention over here. Now they're like, I want to know what's going on. They shut down my football. I want to get this fixed so we can get my football back. And that's fine. We got you on the mission now. You're with us. Now listen. So what do you think of that? Like, the fact that they have, if it comes out, let's just say in a month or 3 weeks that we'll go down this little road here, that Trump's able to prove to the world that the media really lies to you. Look what they were able to do here. Shut down your life, your kids didn't go to school, you lost your jobs, or you lost like your prosperity of just working and being happy. Everyone's working. That's the other thing with this check we were talking about before the show. It's like, everyone I know is willingly working. JT down here is willingly setting up gigs and playing for people and moving and grooving. So they without you waking up one day, they're like, you can't go do that no more. Oh, by the way, here's a check maybe coming. Socialism. You know
what worries me the most is it's like, how we all have that really crazy conspiracy theory brain where we can, and we've obviously seen so many people out there spewing whatever they think of, but this is my true worry. I guess let me start. I think it was about literally 8-10 years ago. I went to this Chinese restaurant all the time, and the lady, I got to know the lady that owned it, and I would run into her at the bank down there. We've got this small little nursing home in Washington that all of a sudden 7 cases of the coronavirus are in, and 17 cases. And we've got these little areas that are all of a sudden popping up. And I started thinking, if 30 years ago, China just started picking certain members of their population and saying, okay, we're going to set you up with $50,000 to go live in America, but if we ever need you, you'll have instructions of what to do. So what do they get? A water bottle in the mail from the government of China. Okay, you must drink this and go to work. It could be that damn simple. They get a damn bottle of water contaminated in the mail. They have to drink it and they go do their stuff. And I know that sounds crazy, but it doesn't sound as crazy as some of the other crazy stuff.
It's less crazy.
It's less crazy. I mean, and you know, they could literally have activated spies all over our country. I mean, we have a Chinese restaurant on every block in my city,
Okay.
practically. So, you know, not that I'm going, I love China. And I'm not saying anything. I love them, and I think many of them are great Americans. I just they still could have, you know,
Yeah.
activation
Well,
codes.
no, I mean,
You
here's
know it.
one I've heard, like, and you know, if people are planning an event, folks, we know that that is orchestrating, and people are like, not everything. I mean, so if Trump writes a book in 1999, he releases it in 2000. This is true. Trump book hit the shelves in January of 2000. So if you got a book that hits the store shelves in January, you'd imagine you wrote it throughout the year 99, or at least for a few months of 99, depending how quick you can get something out. But anyway, in January of 2000, this book hits the shelves, and Trump has a chapter in there. He's like, oh, we got this guy named Osama bin Laden. He's going to make the 93 trade tower attacks look like fireworks. And then he's going to escape off to some caves in Afghanistan, and the media is going to look for him, and we're going to look for him. And then a few news cycles later, off to the next bad guy. And people are baffled, like, whoa, Trump predicted Osama bin Laden, and well, maybe he didn't predict. He actually heard the storyline. He was a former insider. He heard something and he didn't like it, and so you can go. So basically, I've heard this one, that the deep state, of course, organized all this. If you look at how it coordinates, I mean, you got Joe Biden's connections to China. China doesn't like the war on the trade deals that Trump's been pushing for the last year and a half. We've had delays, and China's 90% into our Walmarts, into our country, like you were saying. So it's not good. They've tried everything from Russia to everything, all the way up to impeachment. He beat that. And then all of a sudden, perfectly in alignment, the outbreak didn't happen at any of those other times with something just naturally, just by itself. 5 months before this election, and it's a pretty big, devastating one to hit the economy when it was perfectly good. And with something like this, it can go to perfectly bad. But yeah, was something truly supposed to be released out of China? Did something truly get released out of China, or is it the guise that something got released out of China? And that the deep state was really truly hoping that their bad people would release something, and we had an act the whole time, with even China coordinating, Italy's help, because I know Trump tweeted Italy with 5 aircraft over the ocean showing their colors, our aircraft, Raptors, and it gave the Italy's color, and it was like, go Italy. Now we know Barr and Durham were just recently over in Italy. They got a skiff room. They're looking at all this crazy stuff that happened with the intel communities, doing their dirt overseas and setting people up. So I don't know if they're on our side, and Trump tweeting, go Italy, and then this whole thing kicks off. Italy's the worst right now, by the way. Was it to give the illusion to the deep state that it was all happening as planned for them, but really not? I don't know. That's one of the crazier ones I've heard. Not the craziest, but
Yeah,
Who writes the narrative? Who writes the narrative? I want to know who writes the narrative, man.
Woodman, that's exactly what I was thinking, man. It's like, you just made me think of basically a Q proof that we haven't thought of, which is, remember when Russia, he kept pushing in, their narrative is Russia. What are they? And basically led us up to the fact that what they were hiding was China, right? Remember that? Remember that?
Yes.
And so now we are the news now, right? Okay. What's the narrative right now? China. So literally over this period of time, we have flipped the narrative from Russia, Russia, Russia to China, China, China. Not only us, Trump has done it. Everybody has done it. It is now China, China, China.
That is interesting.
If you say Russia, Russia, Russia right now, everybody's like, Russia's fine.
No.
But China, China, China. You see what I'm saying? That is a huge Q proof because that is a consciousness thing, dude. That is like the narrative of conscious. And so it was either a time travel. I'm starting to think he's got the quantum computers rocking, man, because
the yellow cubes are up.
I don't know, but anyways.
This is some definite planning possibly. Now, so other than that narrative of China or taking it down to China, but we know that Biden had the connections, his son as well. It's very plausible that nobody wants 4 more years of Trump more than like the deep state, China. They want him out. So we'll see where this leads. The other interesting thing was Trump talking about Google and the coronavirus thing, and then the news coming out, fake news, but then Google comes out, I was like, no, he was right. What that did, I was looking into it, it was opened up all the doors. It's like the doors have been opened for searching, and I've done it myself. All of us can. You can put in pedogate or pedophiles now or adrenochrome, and the search algorithms, because Trump did something, Google did this, and they said, well, the algorithm, and they wanted the searching to work for this coronavirus, but more so possibly as these arrests start and people are going to be getting on their phones wanting to get into this. It's like the algorithms have been lifted magically.
It does seem like that, doesn't it?
Yes. So I don't know. And you guys can all do that at home. That's like a home project for you. A little homework.
I searched my name just to for the heck of it, and I had 6 million different, and about 4 million of them were me. You know, it was like, what the heck?
I used to do the Patriot Hour and do all, and you wouldn't get nothing. I'd get all kinds of Patriot football things stacked up. Or, the Patriots. But then if I ever did images, I might find myself 3 or 4 pages down one clip that somebody put. But now it's Woodman. It's relevant. It's huge. So do that, you guys. It's been unlocked. Google's possibly been
you
unlocked.
Google your Twitter name, and I mean it's just like
links
comes up with
galore.
Every single thing you ever did.
Every portal points you at your correct path almost. I mean, what's going on here?
Well, what wasn't it something about that Google thing where he said we have 1,400 people working on it, and we were wondering if some of the Patriots actually went into Google and are working with Google and is that kind of what the theory is?
I think. Yeah, I haven't dug enough more. I'm going to keep doing today. It's at this point, it's like there's so many different things.
Wendy just said, Rosebud just said, you can Google adrenochrome, and it's like,
it's probably you couldn't do that before.
No.
So
wow.
Yeah, do that, folks. Hit the image, maybe the news, or just all, and you'll be. It's a new, and that's being set up. I don't think Trump really, had the idea of, we need to make this right for coronavirus so everyone can get accurate information and search. Hey, maybe that's the guise of it. Like, the algorithms have changed. Let's put it that way.
First of all, if we the actions that we took and he took as a leader really will minimize the effect of the virus, and on top of that, if it also leaves space to do these things that we're talking about because the country's looking over here and the Patriots can be kind of fixing some problems, taking out a lot of these old regulations, allowing the truckers to. There's so many things he's looking at that people haven't even thought of. That it's just amazing, and you can tell that. I truly believe even his worst critics are going, wow, why didn't we think of that? Why didn't they do that before? Why
Yeah.
So
And they're not.
he's winning.
Now I
Yeah,
did see.
yeah.
Yes, that is winning. That's a textbook death. 10 days of the internet will be shut down, possibly. Yeah. So the 10 days of darkness. What did you take on? I specifically was asked to Q. By the way, will it be power? And they're like, no. And then he put because of the black eye, which is a software that or kind of a mechanism for our power grid to keep it from being sabotaged by intrusions. So let me put it that way. For that's what Q had put. There wouldn't be no power outage. It's all stable, but the blackout could be of media of sorts or fake news. If that's
That's how I take it.
if that's what's found to be that they propagated this all up, do you think it is, you have almost a right? And I know it's opposite. No, you can't shut down a free press. That's the exact opposite of what we want. But man, if you find that to be like of treason, or the 6 owners that own everything have been propagating so heavily, we don't get shut down, but places like that would. I don't know. Almost needs to happen. I'm not for shutting down news and information for people, but if you're owned by some malicious, nasty, and your purpose is to just poison the mind, I don't know. What do you guys think on that one? I mean, the 10 days of darkness possibly, or just information shut down? Oh, no audio.
I think mainstream media.
His audio.
Oh, wow. Again, huh?
Might be his thing.
Yeah. I think they're going to hold off mainstream media myself. Try and eliminate the false accusations or theories that they're going to throw out there. Get some time to fix things correctly. If that makes any sense, but I actually think it would be a good thing. Nobody is going to like it.
No.
Nobody will like it, but if you look at it in an open-minded way, something like this actually has to be done that way, so they have, I use the word freedom loosely, but
Can you hear us, JT? Okay. If this did happen, and if you're back on, I think with Woodman before, you have to log out real quick, just hit your and then come right back in. And as long as your mic's up, it'll come in good. But if it's down still, then it'll probably still be down. All right, he's coming right back in. So as we wait on him, thank you guys for being here. We got almost 1,000 in the room. Again, JT's going to be coming down to the Patriot Fest. We should talk about that for a few. We're almost at the hour mark. We'll go here, let him get back in, and maybe he'll join us again. He's off for the next few weeks, so we'll probably have him sit in here if he wants to a couple of times. There you are, brother. I don't know if we can hear you yet.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we got you. Sound good. Sound good.
Good to go.
So we're working out our bugs, but if this happens in the future, now, and
yeah.
We were just talking about the Patriot Fest. We hope, it all works out. You're off for the next few weeks. So I was just telling them that you're more than welcome to join in when we can. I'll shoot you a text
I'd love
when we're
to,
going
man.
live. All right.
I love your show, by the way. I love your videos. You posted a video a couple days ago that was almost like a little introduction to Q in a way. I think you could have even titled it that way, but because it was kind of like the Save the World or the JOM video.
The one where I kind of
really.
Okay. Actually, I went over like some of the phrases, like where we go, when we go, all. What does that mean to me?
Yeah, dude, that was awesome. You should really promote that video. That's the one thing when anybody comes up with something brilliant, especially, you put out so much content that it's like, I think people are a little bit spoiled. So when your listeners and the people out here, when find something that's like brilliant, you know, because we all put out content to come up with like one brilliant thing out of
Yeah.
1,000. You know what I'm saying? That is a brilliant
Right.
video, and I think we need to recognize when that happens and start promoting those a little more for each other, because that was really good, and it you know, affected me till I'm still thinking about it now. I saw it 5 days ago, so you know, I want to watch it again, actually.
Well,
Well,
thank you,
he,
brother.
he has a great talent
I
at
do
that.
that for the
You
Patriots, you
do,
guys.
you
I
know, and
really do.
I want. Well, I want to say too, because I'm a, you know, kind of a perfectionist, but I don't have the abilities of editing. And you have great voice, and you got great editing skills, and your what your script is really good. So just keep doing that, and when you do certain ones like that, really get them out to us. And if you feel proud of it at the end of it, then don't hesitate to send a message to every single person on Twitter and say, listen, I really feel strongly about this. Will you put it out? Because you know, again, you have so much stuff that nobody, it kind of gets hard to differentiate what you really want to push and what you don't. And even for you, I'm sure that's the case. So, but there's certain things that you're doing that are brilliant, and they need to be more, you know, seen by more peoples.
Heck yeah, I need a assistant, you know, that I can launch some of my ideas, man. No, I'm just joking.
Well, listen, I would love to be a part of what you're doing. And anytime my phone's there, anytime you have a question or, and I'll do the same. If I see something that's strong, I'll let you know, man. You need to push this, and I'll help you with it. No
I
problem.
appreciate it. Hey, you're everybody. That's JT. If you don't know, now you know. Get over to his channel, subscribe. He's got a Twitter. By the way, you were talking about how your Twitter came about. You said Jordan Sather, great information as well he puts out. I was going to say I only started a Twitter because when I was in YouTube, you know how when you're in YouTube, you know, you can like really quickly branch it off to the multiple. They have like 10 or 12 different stringers under there. I don't know what they are. I'm not. Some of them are in like almost Russian or something, but there's different links. So the Twitter's there. And that's how I started. I was like, yeah, like to link it to it and automatically. It used to automatically do it, and then they came out with we're no longer. You have to click it individually. But I hit the Twitter, and it told me to make one real quick. So from there, I created one, and for about 6 or 8 months, I never got onto Twitter. I was just using it as a place to put a link. So all my Twitters were just links to YouTube videos. But one day I logged in, I was like, oh my, there's like 8,000 people following me. So I started engaging on it. I made, that was like a secondary portal for videos. And one day I finally got it on my phone, got the app. I was like, yeah, I'll start talking on here. And I love it. And so I like to follow along with Trump and then all the bad people too, you know, to see what, you know, Comey.
That's what's so cool about it for me is like you interact with everybody, and everybody is somehow on the same page. It doesn't matter. I mean, nobody's above anybody, really. I mean, you look up to these people, but so many of the people I looked up to on Twitter are now my friends, you know, like I talk, and it's like, it becomes, you know, you just end up being in there. I guess one of my really good friends put it this way. You know, I guess, you know, inside we internally always beat ourselves up. You know, we have this thing like nobody loves us. And, you know, we all have that deal of how we interact with the world to get them to love us. And then find out that we have to love ourselves. Oh, that's good stuff, you know. But the truth about it is that you're never, ever, if you are in someone's presence, if God and life has brought you into someone's presence and their knowledge of you, you are equal to them.
Yes.
You are equal to them. They are not above you. You are not above them. You are equal. God has brought you together to show you are equal. Now, we go into some of those. If we were in the room with Trump, we'd be like, "Oh my God, you're so much better than me," But the reality, that's the ego. That's the you're not good enough. You're not good enough thing in you. And the reality is we are equal to him, and we are equal. We are all equal in our hearts and in our souls. And I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but
that's good.
That was one of the
Amen to
things
that.
that Twitter. That's one of the things that Twitter kind of shows you.
Yeah.
You know, you're. They're just like you. They bitch and scream and moan, and then they have soft and beautiful moments, and we all get to kind of share them together and bitch and moan. And
on the side note of that a little bit, I worked for Sony in North Chicago when I was in the Navy, and I got a part-time job at Sony Electronics, and the manager was real strict. Like, we got a 10% employee, we had our employee pricing for things, but then normal, he's like, hey, if somebody's coming in buying quite a bit of stuff, maybe give them 5%. Make sure you get a hold of me to find out if it's okay. So it was really hard to even get 5% if somebody was buying a TV, a surround sound system, a DVD player, and spending $4,000 or something. We can maybe get them 5%. Well, one time I see this basketball player come in, because I'm in Chicago. So we had, Chicago and then Milwaukee. Yeah. And it was actually somebody from, Milwaukee, or I don't know, the Bucks or something. But, and they're like, the manager's all flipping over himself, stumbling, couldn't give him enough. And, at the end, giving him like 20%. I'm like, what the? I was like, well, I thought we had 5%, and he's like, wow, this was him. I was like, but he's got more money than anyone. Like, why throw the 20% off at the person that's got everything? Like, that was one of the first times, this was years ago, and I was like baffled, like, whoa, that little lady came in, couldn't really afford, and was like, they got this TV over at Kmart for this much. And I'm like, well, is it the same Sony with all the plugins? And she didn't really care. She just wanted this certain size, and couldn't do anything for her. It's like, can't afford it, literally, and too bad, but this guy could afford it. It's like, oh, let us give it to you for free. That makes sense. So that's that adage that you just went into, for our whole lives. I think that's part of the Great Awakening, man. It's like, we've been living in that, the celebrities follow the stars, bro. Yeah, we have, and it's a consciousness, man. It's like it has been working. It's been brainwashing people like they deserve better than I do. Yeah, the truth is that we're one, man. We're one thing, and nobody is above the other. And if we could really do that and live that, where we go, when we go, all happens, and
right.
That's the deal.
Heck yeah. All right.
Amen to that.
I gotta actually do a few things here with everything being shut down and off. I actually have my youngest here. So
cool.
Tend to her for a little bit.
I had a great time, man.
We're going to do it again, whether it's just me and you, or I know my Ben, he's getting his stuff set up, so you might meet him later. That's the one you talked to on the phone, JT, with me.
Good.
Yep, Ben. But other than that, maybe Woodman be back. If not, I can beam in 8 people. We can even get your Katie maybe on at some point, maybe the next day or two. If
yeah.
Want to do that?
And we'll talk about that, but yeah.
Okay.
How is the audio? How is the audio here to like play music? Have you ever had anybody play guitar and sing? Because on Zoom you can't, because the compressor, it makes it sound horrible. But if it sounds good on here, I can play some music sometime.
Ben played in studio here with what I got, and I thought it sounded really good, actually.
Okay,
so
good.
It might work out. We can do. Why don't we plan that for the next show that you come on, play whatever you got that will work for us to not get banned or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, right. Before we go, my website's jtwilde.com, and that's where you can find all my music and links to my stuff. And I have an amazing album coming out, man. I'm so psyched up. It's called Enjoy the Show.
All right,
dude. I sent you that track, didn't I? That track is so good. I'm like so proud of that track. It's ridiculous. Awesome, so I can't wait to release it. It's going to be very cool.
If you I don't know if you've done it. If you have like a master list of all your stuff, if you send it to me, I'll post it. I don't know, it would be better by email or to my phone directly. Either way, I can grab that and put it over in one batch underneath this video, and I'll help you get that out. So all of you can look down here shortly underneath the description. I'll update that. Again, Woodman JT, it was awesome. We're going to go again. Awesome. I know I'm going to be live later.
Thank you, Patriots, too.
And we'll get with you on definitely coming back in later tonight, tomorrow, whatever works.
Yeah, I might be available tonight. What time do you go on?
I don't have any agenda on that. It's 11 now. Okay, maybe late this afternoon or early evening. It's up to we'll work out.
You got some great followers out there, man.
Yes,
they're rocking.
They're good. Good people. God bless all of you. And JT, Woodman, you guys, we'll see you back here real soon.
Awesome.
Every morning, everybody, pray. Keep God on your side.
All right.